Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark, two of the most influential figures in women's basketball, have made headlines with announcements that are sure to resonate throughout the sports world. Swoopes, the first player signed to the WNBA and a three-time MVP, recently revealed her plans to further her impact on the game by taking on a new role as an ambassador for women's sports and youth development. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, the Iowa Hawkeyes superstar, known for her incredible scoring ability, has confirmed her commitment to play another season in college, exciting fans and fueling anticipation for the upcoming season. These developments highlight the ongoing evolution and influence of women's basketball, with legends and rising stars continuing to shape its future.
So I don't have any hard feelings towards Caitlin. My thing is when you put these expectations on these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant. And when that doesn't happen, then people come back and say, oh, she was a bust, she was a flop, she wasn't that good. Like, just let them do what they're doing and let them become stars in the WNBA. Like, it's not about me liking you, not liking you, me hating on you. Like, I don't even know how to let those words come out of my mouth. But so to like every single person on social media that like held it down for me, like I got mad love and respect for all of them for showing up and showing out and making sure that I was good.
Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark, two names that resonate deeply within the world of women's basketball, have both made significant announcements that are shaping the future of the sport in profound ways. Each of these athletes has left an indelible mark on the game, and their recent decisions reflect the ongoing evolution of their careers and the broader landscape of women's sports. Sheryl Swoopes has long been a trailblazer in women's basketball. Her legacy is defined by her pioneering role as the first player signed to the WNBA in 1996, a moment that signified the league's commitment to showcasing the highest level of women's professional basketball. Over the course of her career, Swoopes earned numerous accolades, including 3 WNBA MVP awards, 4 WNBA championships with the Houston Comets, and 3 Olympic gold medals. Her versatility on the court, often drawing comparisons to the NBA's Michael Jordan, set a standard for excellence in the sport. Recently, Swoopes announced her latest venture, a commitment to advancing the visibility and development of women's sports through her new role as an ambassador. This decision aligns with her long-standing passion for advocacy, particularly in empowering young female athletes. Swoopes has always believed that sports can be a powerful tool for building confidence and resilience, especially among girls and young women. Her new role will see her working closely with youth organizations, schools, and sports programs to promote opportunities for young athletes to engage in basketball and other sports, emphasizing the importance of access to quality coaching and facilities. Swoopes' announcement comes at a crucial time when the conversation around women's sports is gaining momentum. There is a growing recognition of the need to support and invest in female athletes from a young age, ensuring that they have the resources and encouragement necessary to succeed at the highest levels. Swoopes' involvement in this movement is significant, not just because of her status as a sports icon, but because of her deep understanding of the challenges that female athletes face, both on and off the court. Her experience navigating the professional sports world during a time when opportunities for women were far more limited gives her a unique perspective on the importance of mentorship and advocacy.
Honestly, like I felt like it was like just a smooth game for us. Like I just felt like we were flowing well out there. Like it just felt like pretty basketball. Like, and sometimes I think as a basketball player, like you can just feel it. I thought that's what we had. Like I said, minus the first 6 minutes, I thought we played really well. And this was a big one for us. It almost counts towards two when you're in the playoff race of like a loss and a win. So we knew it was a big one, but also like we wanted to win the season series with them. That was kind of a focus point. And the last time we were here, we were up 15 in the fourth quarter and kind of, fumbled it away. So I thought it was another opportunity for us to come in here and show what we're about.
In addition to her work with youth, Swoopes is also focused on using her platform to highlight the achievements of current female athletes. She has expressed a particular interest in supporting the next generation of WNBA players, many of whom have cited her as an inspiration. By engaging with fans, media, and corporate sponsors, Swoopes aims to ensure that the accomplishments of these athletes receive the recognition they deserve. This effort is particularly important in the context of the broader fight for gender equity in sports, where issues such as pay disparity, media coverage, and investment continue to be areas of concern. Swoopes' new role also involves advocating for greater representation of women in leadership positions within sports organizations. This includes coaching, management, and executive roles, areas where women are still significantly underrepresented. Swoopes has long been vocal about the need for more women to be involved in decision-making processes within the sports industry, arguing that diverse perspectives are crucial for the growth and sustainability of women's sports. Her advocacy work is expected to involve collaboration with various organizations and initiatives aimed at increasing the visibility and influence of women in sports leadership. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, one of the brightest stars in women's college basketball, has also made headlines with a significant announcement. Clark, who has become a household name thanks to her exceptional performances with the Iowa Hawkeyes, confirmed that she will be returning for another season of college basketball. This decision was met with widespread excitement from fans and analysts alike, who are eager to see how she will continue to elevate her game and lead her team. Clark's decision to stay in college for another year is notable for several reasons. First, it underscores her commitment to the development of her skills and her desire to achieve even greater success at the collegiate level before making the leap to the professional ranks. Despite already being one of the most dominant players in the NCAA, Clark has consistently emphasized the importance of growth and improvement, both individually and as part of her team. Her return to Iowa signals her belief that there is still unfinished business and that she has more to accomplish with the Hawkeyes. Clark's impact on the game goes beyond her on-court achievements. She has become a role model for young athletes, particularly for girls who aspire to play basketball at a high level. Her combination of talent, work ethic, and leadership has earned her widespread admiration, and her decision to continue her college career is likely to inspire other athletes to consider the value of maximizing their collegiate experience. Clark has spoken openly about the importance of education and the unique opportunities that college basketball provides, including the chance to build lasting relationships with teammates and coaches and to compete at a high level while also pursuing academic goals. Clark's return also has significant implications for the Iowa Hawkeyes program. Her presence on the team boosts their chances of making a deep run in the NCAA tournament, and her leadership will be crucial in guiding the team's younger players. Clark's ability to elevate those around her has been one of the defining characteristics of her career so far, and her decision to stay is a testament to her commitment to her teammates and to the program that has supported her development. Furthermore, Clark's announcement comes at a time when women's college basketball is enjoying increased visibility and popularity. The sport has seen a surge in interest, with more fans tuning in to watch games and follow the careers of standout players like Clark. Her decision to stay in college is likely to further boost this momentum as fans eagerly anticipate her performances in the upcoming season. Clark has become one of the faces of the sport, and her continued presence in the NCAA is expected to draw even more attention to women's basketball, both in terms of media coverage and fan engagement. Clark's announcement also has potential implications for the WNBA. Sheryl Swoopes, a legendary figure in women's basketball, has recently shared her personal insights on Caitlin Clark, the rising star of the sport known for her impressive skills and competitive spirit. Swoopes' revelations offer a closer look at what Clark is truly like off the court, beyond the highlight reels and public appearances. As someone who has experienced the highs and challenges of being in the spotlight, Swoopes' perspective is particularly compelling, providing fans with a deeper understanding of the young athlete's character and personality.
How much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them because you've been doing it a lot longer than they have.
When it comes to discussing the brightest stars in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark's name is one that inevitably dominates the conversation. At a young age, Clark has already carved out a significant place for herself in the sport, drawing comparisons to some of the greatest players in the game. Her scoring ability, court vision, and competitive edge have made her a household name among basketball enthusiasts, with many hailing her as the future of women's basketball. However, as with any rising star, the public persona that emerges through highlight reels and interviews only tells part of the story. Behind the accolades and the growing fame lies a young athlete navigating the pressures and expectations that come with being in the limelight. It's in this context that the words of Sheryl Swoopes, a trailblazer in her own right, take on a particular resonance. Sheryl Swoopes is more than just a former basketball player. She's a living legend in the world of sports. A three-time WNBA MVP and four-time champion, Swoopes set the standard for excellence in women's basketball during her career. She was a key figure in popularizing the WNBA, and her legacy extends beyond her on-court achievements to her role as a mentor and advocate for the next generation of players. So, when Swoopes speaks, particularly about a player like Caitlin Clark, people tend to listen. Her insights are not just the opinions of a fan or commentator, they come from someone who has walked the path that Clark is currently on, someone who understands both the rewards and the challenges that come with being a high-profile athlete. In a recent discussion, Swoopes offered a glimpse into what Caitlin Clark is really like in person, and her observations provide a nuanced picture that complements the public image of the young star.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about bullies, we can talk about every time Caitlin has the ball, she pushes off.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying, like,
but she has the...
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it. If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be.
According to Swoopes, Clark is not just a talented player with a fierce competitive streak. She's also a grounded and introspective individual who is acutely aware of the responsibilities that come with her rising fame. Swoopes' comments suggest that Clark is someone who understands the importance of staying true to herself, even as the world around her changes. This aspect of Clark's personality is particularly striking in an era where young athletes are often thrust into the spotlight before they've had the chance to fully develop their identities. One of the key themes that emerges from Swoopes' reflections is the idea of authenticity. In today's sports culture, where social media plays a significant role in shaping public perception, maintaining authenticity can be a challenging task. Athletes are often encouraged to build their personal brands, to cultivate a certain image that resonates with fans and sponsors alike. This can sometimes lead to a disconnect between the public persona and the private individual. However, Swoopes suggests that Clark is someone who has managed to navigate this terrain with a rare sense of integrity. She describes Clark as someone who is genuine in her interactions, someone who is not afraid to show vulnerability or admit when she doesn't have all the answers. This quality, Swoopes argues, is part of what makes Clark so special, not just as a player, but as a person. Another aspect of Clark's personality that Swoopes highlights is her humility. Despite all the accolades and the growing attention, Clark remains deeply committed to the fundamentals of the game. She's known for her relentless work ethic, spending countless hours in the gym honing her skills. For Clark, it's not just about being the best player on the court. It's about constantly striving to improve, to push the boundaries of what she's capable of. This drive for self-improvement is something that Swoopes recognizes from her own career, and she sees it as a crucial factor in Clark's continued success. But beyond the physical aspects of the game, Swoopes notes that Clark also brings a thoughtful, almost philosophical approach to her craft. She's someone who studies the game, who seeks to understand not just how to play, but why certain things work the way they do.
So I don't have any hard feelings towards Caitlin. My thing is when you put these expectations on these young women in college to go to the next level and be immediately dominant. And when that doesn't happen, then people come back and say, oh, she was a bust, she was a flop, she wasn't that good. Like, just let them do what they're doing and let them become stars in the WNBA. Like, it's not about me liking you, not liking you, me hating on you. Like, I don't even know how to let those words come out of my mouth. But so to like every single person on social media that like held it down for me, like I got mad love and respect for all of them for showing up and showing out and making sure that I was good.
This intellectual curiosity is another dimension of Clark's personality that may not be immediately apparent to those who only see her on the court. Swoopes also touches on the topic of leadership, a role that Clark is increasingly being called upon to embrace. As one of the standout players on her team, Clark naturally finds herself in a position of influence, both among her teammates and in the broader basketball community. According to Swoopes, Clark approaches this responsibility with a maturity beyond her years. She's not the type to seek out the spotlight for its own sake. Instead, she leads by example, setting a high standard through her actions rather than her words. This kind of leadership is particularly valuable in a team sport like basketball, where cohesion and mutual respect are essential for success. Colin Cowherd has just dropped a bombshell revelation about Caitlin Clark that's taking the sports world by storm. In a recent broadcast, Cowherd unveiled some surprising insights into Clark's career and personal life that many might not have seen coming.
She didn't make the three-point shooting contest? So you argued she wasn't good for the Olympics. Your argument, though I don't buy it, but it was your argument, women's basketball, that she would be a distraction. I roll, but okay. So isn't the perfect place to put her in the skills competition, where she's one of the best three-point shooters, and she's a highly skilled player?
Cowherd revealed that Caitlin Clark, the standout basketball player from Iowa, has been dealing with challenges and pressures beyond the court. He highlighted how Clark's journey has been marked by intense scrutiny and expectations, not just from fans and media, but also from herself.
So now what is it? Pettiness, gatekeeping, insular? dumb? If you're not going to put her in the Olympics, oh, you're 0 for 1. Now you're not putting her in the skills competition. She quadrupled the ratings. Nobody's going to watch that skills competition. They would have, highlighting Clark and other players. Thank God the WNBA didn't go 0 for 3. They did find it in their heart to put her on the WNBA All-Star team.
Cowherd's commentary focused on Clark's resilience and how she's navigated these pressures with a level of maturity and grace. He emphasized that her performances and public persona might not fully capture the depth of her struggles and the strength she's shown in overcoming them.
She's paying for everything, and you want her to pay her dues. It's really ridiculous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Bird and Magic came into the league, and they put them on everything. They tried to highlight them because the NBA was more secure in itself. They understood Bird and Magic could elevate all the players, the league, the revenue, the pie, the pettiness. You got to get her in the skills competition. What are you doing? You should have her on the Olympic team. What are you doing? Last night, we got 19 assists. By the way, you know who was in the dunk contest his rookie year? Michael Jordan. They got Michael Jordan in the dunk contest. He didn't have to pay his dues. Everybody was like, get that kid in the dunk contest.
This revelation adds a new layer to our understanding of Caitlin Clark, reminding us that even high-profile athletes face their own set of challenges. Cowherd's insights urge us to look beyond the surface and appreciate the human side of these incredible athletes.
She has scored or assisted on 66 points, 71% of the Fever's points. That's the most ever in league history. She's breaking records every week. Now, you made a big mistake the first time, not putting her on the Olympic team. Don't double down on WNBA. Caitlin Clark, Iowa star, broke the NCAA women's hoop scoring record. She's the biggest star in college basketball, men's and women's. TV ratings, they just beat a Miami-Boston Celtic game. Why? One of the reasons, she's now familiar. It's year 4 at Iowa. Men's college basketball, one and done, absolute turnstile. I don't feel like Googling the starting lineup when I want to watch Duke play.
Caitlin Clark underscores her unwavering dedication to the sport, pointing out that she's been playing basketball non-stop for an entire year.
I think Phoenix did a tremendous job of putting this weekend on. The fans were incredible. Obviously, the game was really good. So, and then to walk away with the W, that's not too bad either.
Not at all. I mean, Caitlin, you've broken a lot of records already this season, and you came close again in this All-Star game. There was also a moment between you and Sue Bird courtside.
I love Sue. I'm just messing with her. I always mess around with her, but then I told her, you know, that record's for you, but maybe we'll break it at one point. Who knows?
Caitlin Clark has delivered some phenomenal performances this season.
You know, I've said this, that I think Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the rivalry is great. I don't need Caitlin Clark to win everything. Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid are vying for a starting center spot on the Olympic team. That's going to be in Paris. It's going to be in Paris about a week or two. Right. We're going to have the Olympics. And so we got these games yesterday against Serbia. And Embiid had the worst plus-minus of any player for Team USA.
It's completely understandable that Caitlin Clark needs a break after playing
And Embiid, you know, France wanted him on their team. Everybody fought hard for him, right? And he goes. Anthony Davis, by the way, has been very subtle about even being included. His quote was about the Olympics, "I'd be happy to play if I'm asked." Because the NBA is very much into aesthetics and style, I get lectured for years about players. Carmelo Anthony is unbelievable. He was a terrible defender, never in elite shape, a complete isolation player, very few assists, never made a teammate better, didn't do squat in the playoffs.
Acknowledging her talent and future opportunities is positive for the game. It's likely that she'll have a spot on the team for the Los Angeles Olympics, and supporting her growth can only benefit the sport.
More turnovers than I'd like and hurt all the time. I'm sorry, he's not going to physically dominate the league. I was told Westbrook's an MVP. I thought he was a stat pattern. Bad hands, can't shoot for a guard, hyper athletic, but played one speed and often out of control. I'm watching this Olympic stuff. Embiid gets in the way of the offense. Anthony Davis doesn't. Hell, Anthony Davis took 2 shots yesterday and was the second most dominating player in the game to Steph Curry.
Andrea gives Caitlin Clark an A for her performance, acknowledging her impressive impact in her rookie season. This high grade...
It's a magic bird thing, back and forth. If Angel Reese wins Rookie of the Year, good for her. I like the back and forth. But I just want to tell you that Caitlin Clark last night had 19 assists in a game to set a league record. She's a rookie on a bad team. She has scored or assisted on 66 points, 71% of the Fever's points. That's the most ever in league history. She's breaking records every week. So part of the silliness of not allowing her on the Olympic team is she was a very quickly improving player, and now you kind of look silly. She's arguably the best playmaker in the league, arguably the second best three-point shooter in the league. I don't know. They seem valuable in Olympic competition, and she's not on the team. But yesterday, they also announced the skills competition for the WNBA All-Star team, and she didn't make that either. She didn't make the three-point shooting contest. So you argued she wasn't good for the Olympics. Your argument, though I don't buy it, but it was your argument, women's basketball, that she would be a distraction. I roll, but okay. So isn't the perfect place to put her in the skills competition, where she's one of the best three-point shooters, and she's a highly skilled player? So now what is it? Pettiness, gatekeeping, insular, dumb? If you're not going to put her in the Olympics, oh, you're 0 for 1. Now you're not putting her in the skills competition. She quadrupled the ratings. Nobody's going to watch that skills competition. They would have, highlighting Clark and other players. Thank God the WNBA didn't go 0 for 3. They did find it in their heart to put her on the WNBA All-Star team. But she'll probably be at the end of the bench and struggle to get minutes, I would imagine. But, I mean, it's almost hard rooting for women's basketball.
Caitlin is making a case for herself as Rookie of the Year, but whether she has truly solidified her position remains to be seen, especially with the second half of the season still ahead.
You're like, it cracks me up how they treat her. If you really think about it, they're trying to get her to pay her dues, but she's the one paying all the fees. She's the reason you're flying private. She's paying for everything, and you want her to pay her dues. It's really ridiculous. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bird and Magic came into the league and they put them on everything. They tried to highlight them because the NBA was more secure in itself. They understood Bird and Magic could elevate all the players, the league, the revenue, the pie, the pettiness. You got to get her in the skills competition. What are you doing? You should have her on the Olympic team. What are you doing?
Caitlin Clark's performance is significantly improving her team's chances, even though they were originally the worst team, as evidenced by their securing the #1 pick.
I mean, for years and years, you wanted all this attention. We finally pay it. You have somebody that can absolutely, as a catalyst, get you more attention, and you're now very precious. You're experts, insular, gatekeeping. You're exhausting. Olympic basketball team, men's and women's, has always been subjective and very political at the end of the roster.
It was super fun. I mean, I love Arike. She's always been a fan of mine, and I've always been a fan of hers. And she's just very down to earth, a great person, and in my eyes, one of the best one-on-one players in this league. So I'm not surprised. I mean, they were playing good defense. She was just making really good shots, and that's, it's just kind of impossible to guard. So I'm happy for her, and it was fun. Like, they tried to sub me in for her. I'm like, no, I'm staying on the bench. This is fun to watch.
Yeah, that was classic, Caitlin.
They have nothing to lose because they're already considered top-tier players in the league.
I would make the argument, like a Tiger Woods or a Conor McGregor in their prime, she'll make other people money beyond herself. Rising tide lifts all boats. Instead of getting 7 million viewers, you'll get 14 to 18 with Caitlin Clark, maybe more. The 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th best player on the women's Olympic team would make 6 or 7 figures in endorsements. The women's basketball team does not lose in the Olympics. I think they've won 7 straight golds. You probably didn't know that because you didn't watch. and you would. Life, whether it's a relationship, business, sports.
Honestly, I think setting my teammates up, I think that just like provides so much more energy to the team. It gets everybody going, and when everybody can like touch the ball and get going in that way, I think it just, everybody just flows a little bit better. The offense flows a little bit better. But that's something I take a lot of pride in. At times I think I can try to like overpass and probably could be a little more aggressive to the basket. But yeah, I think with the weapons that we have on our team, like it's just easy for me to set them up, especially with AB, like playing pick and roll with her, and our chemistry is just slowly developing and getting better and better. And yeah, I think we're just, learning as time goes and each game goes, like we're just getting better and better. To be honest, I'm pretty mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. I've been competing for a year straight. Tolls can be taken, and obviously I've been very fortunate to have so many great opportunities over the course of the last year, and I know there's going to be so many more great opportunities for me to come. So I'm pretty sure I'll be in a three-point competition for everybody to watch at some point. Not everybody needs to freak out. So, but also like the roster that we have in the three-point competition is incredible. You look at their percentages, they're all 40% three-point shooters. Like, they're shooting better percentage-wise than I am, so they all deserve it. I'll be there supporting, watching them. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, I mean...
And I think after the trade deadline, I've said this, he and Wemby could be surging as faces of the league. But Ant Edwards isn't as good as Jaylen Brown now. Ant is unrefined. He's up and down. He's hot and cold. Jaylen Brown's great every night. They found a spot for him on the team. Women's basketball feels like it's suffering from spite or historically low self-esteem, where they want to prove that they know more than you do.
She is the best player in the WNBA and are confident in her abilities.
Here's what I know. Caitlin Clark would make all the other women on the Olympic team money. She'd make them more famous. She'd give them opportunities. They'd become potentially more household names. It's not, in fact, I'd argue, it's very little about Caitlin Clark. It's an opportunity wasted. You go ahead and lecture us about how you know the game and you've covered the Olympics. Good for you. But some stuff is business 101. This is a layup, and you blew it.
The rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese electrifies the game.
You know, I've said this, that I think Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the rivalry is great. I don't need Caitlin Clark to win everything. It's a magic bird thing, back and forth. If Angel Reese wins Rookie of the Year, good for her. I like the back and forth.
Caitlin, the rookie, sets records every week.
But I just want to tell you that Caitlin Clark last night had 19 assists in a game to set a league record. She's a rookie on a bad team. She has scored or assisted on 66 points, 71% of the Fever's points. That's the most ever in league history. She's breaking records every week.
Despite her rapid improvement, she was overlooked for the Olympic team.
So part of the silliness of not allowing her on the Olympic team is she was a very quickly improving player, and now you kind of look silly. She's arguably the best playmaker in the league, arguably the second best three-point shooter in the league. I don't know. They seem valuable in Olympic competition, and she's not on the team.
Clark didn't even get a chance to compete in the three-point contest.
But yesterday, they also announced the skills competition for the WNBA All-Star team, and she didn't make that either.
Concerns about distraction kept her out of the women's basketball argument.
She didn't make the three-point shooting contest? So you argued she wasn't good for the Olympics. Your argument, though I don't buy it, but it was your argument, women's basketball, that she would be a distraction. I roll, but okay. So isn't the perfect place to put her in the skills competition, where she's one of the best three-point shooters, and she's a highly skilled player?
She made the WNBA All-Star team, but likely won't play.
So now what is it? Pettiness, gatekeeping, insular, dumb? If you're not going to put her in the Olympics, you're 0 for 1. Now you're not putting her in the skills competition. She quadrupled the ratings. Nobody's going to watch that skills competition. They would have. highlighting Clark and other players. Thank God the WNBA didn't go 0 for 3. They did find it in their heart to put her on the WNBA All-Star team. But she'll probably be at the end of the bench and struggle to get minutes, I would imagine. But, I mean, it's almost hard rooting for women's basketball. You're like... it cracks me up how they treat her. If you really think about it, they're trying to get her to pay her dues, but she's the one paying all the fees. She's the reason you're flying private. She's paying for everything, and you want her to pay her dues. It's really ridiculous. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bird and Magic came into the league, and they put them on everything. They tried to highlight them because the NBA was more secure in itself. They understood Bird and Magic could elevate all the players, the league, the revenue, the pie, the pettiness. You got to get her in the skills competition. What are you doing? You should have her on the Olympic team. What are you doing?
I honestly think just pick and roll. Like, we were getting whatever we wanted to the rim, and like AB was sealing really well. Like offensively, we were able to get whatever we wanted all night. It felt like it was just our defense. Like we gave up 28 points off turnovers. I think 20 of those were in the first half, and like so that really we had to start the game, and just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. Like give up 100+ points, we're not going to win very many games. Like that's just the reality of it. But we did a pretty good job of hanging with them, and probably gave people an entertaining game. It was fun there in the last 4 minutes. It was pretty back and forth, I guess.
Diana Taurasi's injury might pave the way for Clark to join the Olympic team.
I think Caitlin Clark has that pull, and it's interesting. So yesterday she had another great fourth quarter. They came back to win. So here's what's interesting. Diana Taurasi is injured, and it may open the door for Caitlin Clark to make the Olympic team. And women's basketball just didn't quite know how to handle Caitlin Clark. It reminds me a little bit when Taylor Swift, the singer, became a billionaire with the Eras tour, and like the management team and Ticketmaster had to apologize. Like in 10 minutes, they couldn't supply enough tickets. It was just, they were completely overwhelmed. And I think that's what women's basketball was with Caitlin Clark. I mean, they knew a year out she could be the #1 pick. They give her the toughest schedule, early schedule in the league over any other team. And remember, the Indiana Fever were the worst team. So she comes in, they start 1-8. They put nothing but quality veteran teams that had been in the playoffs. Terrible start. And then the league has to scramble because she's selling jerseys and merch like crazy. They've got to switch venues in LA. They went from the Pyramid in Long Beach to Crypto. And the league got, this is what happens sometimes with soccer fans. They feel ignored, and WA fans feel ignored. So they get very precious, very tribal, very insular. She's not going to make the USA women's basketball Olympic team. And you're like, are you crazy? Go look at the men's team. It's political. Jaylen Brown's not on it because Nike doesn't want him on it. Kyrie Irving's not on it because Nike didn't want him on it. You're not going to put Caitlin Clark, your Taylor Swift, on the team? Well, she sells out her all-star jersey in 17 minutes.
Leading the WNBA in assists and ranking 3rd in three-pointers, Clark shines.
I'm still not sure women's basketball quite has their feet under them. They're doing a Ticketmaster. They're bailing water. She's exploding as a player. She leads the WNBA in assists. She's 3rd in three-pointers made. Indiana's won 8 of 12. Yesterday's a prime example where she is in the fourth quarter, best player on the floor, had a choppy first half, but had 10 points. But you're not going to hear anybody pick on women's basketball as a unit. There's a lot of sycophants in the media. They feel like the sport's been ignored, so they're part of the brigade to support it, and that's fine. But let's be honest about it. The sport made a terrible decision on the Olympic team. The scheduling early, even though they knew she was coming out and probably going to be a #1 pick a year earlier, about the time they were making schedules, was ridiculous. And now Indiana's on fire. Caitlin Clark's like a 17, 8, and 6 player. She's getting better by the week. She says the right stuff at the podium. There's nothing about her you don't like. And it's like, now you made a big mistake the first time, not putting her on the Olympic team. Don't double down on dumb.
Caitlin Clark will boost your television ratings and elevate the sport.
Get her on the team. Give us a reason to watch the Olympic women's team. You guys win gold every year. Your competition's weak. You win it every year. Give us a reason. Quadruple your television ratings with her. Promoting not only the other women on the team that could get endorsements, but promoting your sport. There's a reason that top movie stars and top athletes use the same 4 or 5 agents, because they can handle it. They don't get overwhelmed. Women's basketball is felt overwhelmed here. You got your Conor McGregor. Your baseball, you got your Bryce Harper. You know, you got your Messi in the MLS. You put him on TV. You know, the whole salary cap in the MLS. It's funny. They got Messi into the MLS. The guy makes more than some of the teams. They figured out a way to get him into the MLS. They weren't precious and rigid. And so, listen, in basketball terms, this is a layup. In NBA terms, it's a slam dunk. If you can get her on the Olympic team, you missed the first time, do it the second time. You're doing yourself a favor. Don't get in the way of yourself. Don't jump over a $20 bill to get to a 5, as they say. You screwed up the first time. Don't screw up again. Get her on the Olympic team. Diana Taurasi, by the way, has been a huge, ardent supporter of Caitlin Clark. She wouldn't mind it.